I see you shiver with anticipation.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
Tuesday night, Home Team Sports. What's up? It's the Big Alboski. It's Chris Fant. What's up?
Watching the beginning of the NCAA tournament, game one.
Game one, March Madness. You got your brackets filled out?
Brackets all filled out. Ready for the bust.
Go Zags. Go Nova.
It'd be nice to see them finally win it. They're good every year. They get there almost every year and just can't get it done.
That's absolutely true. All right, so let's talk about some notable NFL trades and free agent signings that's been happening over the past 48 hours. I mean, it's been insane, right? But I know that the ones that I know, the big ones that I know, are Mitchell Trubisky is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. Carson Wentz is now a Washington Commander. I know that DeShaun Watson's been meeting with, I think, 4 or 5 different teams over the last 48 hours. No brackets yet, says Jennifer. But you got them in front of you, don't you? Like, you got the big names that most people would talk about, right?
The big name was Gregory from Dallas there.
The Cowboys.
He was offered 5 years, $90 million, and he was offered
from the Cowboys.
From
right?
the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Cowboys on their website posted that they were re-signing him early this morning. Yet Denver offered the same thing, but more guaranteed money, and here he is, a Denver Bronco.
So right, and then the Broncos are stacking up, right? I mean, they got Russell Wilson, and now they added some defense. They went out and got that cornerback. And I mean, they're going all in, and they better, because the Chargers are doing the same thing, right? Who did the Chargers get?
Yeah, the Chargers loaded up as well. The Chargers had they re-signed Mike Williams to a good contract.
Right.
They got Khalil Mack.
Right.
J.C. Jackson from New
J.C.
England.
Jackson, yes. Rutgers has to win tomorrow first before I pick my brackets.
Now they got a top 2 linebacker on the same team for their defense, as well as possibly a 1 and a 5 cornerback with James, who came from Florida State and plays on the Chargers as well.
So do you think that Aaron Rodgers deciding to stay in Green Bay and Tom Brady unretiring influenced a lot of these signings and a lot of these trades?
I didn't believe Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere to begin with. Nobody could handle that type of money for a seasoned quarterback like that. Nobody's going to go all in.
Unless he retired.
But he's still going to want a ton of money any team he went to. Okay. Brady, it's kind of weird. What was it, 2 months? He retired 2 months ago and then just decided he needed to come back. I believe he just wanted to hold his word. He wanted to play till he was 45.
All right, so I got the list here of what's transpired in the past 24 hours or 48 hours, because legal tampering was allowed. Actually, free agency and trades don't open till tomorrow, but teams have been jumping the gun on it, with the legal tampering thing. So we'll start in the AFC East. Here's some notables: the Buffalo Bills signing J.D. McKissick to a 2-year, $7 million deal. Wide receiver Jake Kumaro re-signed. Wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie re-signed. Offensive guard signed a 1-year deal. Roger Saffold. And cornerback Syrian Neal re-signed a 3-year deal for $10.9 million. So that's the Buffalo Bills. Nothing crazy there. They were just re-signing guys that they already had They didn't go out and get too many big, big crazy things. The Dolphins, however, as we move on to the Dolphins, signed quarterback Teddy Bridgewater. What do you think about that?
He's a solid backup. Definitely a solid backup.
You don't think he has a chance to? You don't think Teddy Bridgewater has a chance to start?
He does. He does have a. He's going to challenge Tua. He does have a chance to start because Tua might not be able to stay healthy.
Big Nick, we're gonna get to Jacksonville because Dougie P's making moves down there.
I like the Cedric Wilson pickup from Miami too.
Yeah, Wilson's another one that they got. Preston Williams, they re-signed him. Connor Williams, the offensive guard, they signed a 2-year deal for $14 million. Linebacker Duke Riley re-signed for $3 million for 1 year, and linebacker Landon Roberts re-signed a 1 year, $3.2 million deal. So that's pretty much the Dolphins' big names. Chase Edmonds, the running back, agreed to a 2-year, $12 million deal. So there's that. That's the Dolphins. So let's go to the Patriots. So they re-signed Brian Hoyer for the backup to backup quarterback to Chandler Jones, or not Chandler Jones. Jones. Mac Jones. They signed. They re-signed James White, the running back. They re-signed offensive guard James Ferentz. They acquired Mac Wilson from the Cleveland Browns in exchange for defensive end Chase Winovich. Did the Patriots. Re-signed kicker Nick Folk. He had a pretty good season last year, I remember.
He had a great season for his age.
Absolutely. And special teamer Matthew Slater, they re-signed him too. So that's pretty much the Patriots' big names and acquisitions. So how about the Jets? So the Jets re-signed Coleman, the running back, for 1 year. Wide receiver Braxton Berrios re-signed a 2-year, $12 million contract. They got CJ Uzomah from the tight end from the Bengals. Yeah. Signing a 3-year deal for $24 million.
That's a big pickup.
That's a big pickup. That's a big pickup for you guys, right?
That guy's a beast.
He is. He's probably one of the top 5 tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
Then they re-signed Connor McDermott and Laken Tomlinson. They were offensive line. Cornerback DJ Reed. They signed a 3-year, $33 million deal. DJ Reed's a good corner.
Yep.
Safety Jordan Whitehead, 2 years, $14 million. And defensive back Lamarcus Joyner re-signed a 1-year contract. So Jets making some moves, not as many as you probably hope, but they made some good moves there.
Let's hope that there's a couple good guys there at pick 4 and pick 10 so they can solidify that offense or defensive line, either or.
So let's go to the AFC North. The Ravens signed Marcus Williams to a 5-year, $70 million deal, which includes $37 million guaranteed. Marcus Williams to the Ravens.
Yeah, he was a beast with the Saints.
Right. Yeah. Crazy. Probably one of the best safeties in the league.
Yeah.
The Bengals. So that's all that they've done so far. And again, this is only the last 48 hours, guys, because a lot of this stuff's going to start happening tomorrow. Cincinnati signed Alex Kappa, the offensive guard, to a 4-year, $35 million deal. Offensive lineman Teddy Karras signed a 3-year, $18 million deal. Defensive tackle BJ Hill re-signed 3 years, $30 million. And safety Jesse Bates re-signed. They actually made him the franchise tag. So that's the Bengals. The Browns got Amari Cooper from the Cowboys, right? Got him in a trade in exchange for a 2022 5th-round draft pick and a 6th-round draft pick. So that's huge for Baker Mayfield. I mean, I know they're still not exactly sold on him, but I mean, obviously Amari Cooper is going to make him look better. And if they let Landry walk right out the door, he's going to need him, right?
Yeah, I think they got an angry Baker Mayfield now after putting their shuffle in there for Watson. He can't be too happy about that.
Yeah, he could take it that way, or he could look at it as a challenge and say, "Look, I got to play better either to keep my job or to make somebody out there think that I'm could be their quarterback." Tight end David Njoku got the franchise tag from the Browns. Defensive end Chase Winovich acquired in a trade with the Patriots for Mac Wilson, and defensive tackle Taven Bryan agreed to terms for a 1-year deal worth $5 million with the Browns. So that's the Browns. So then we got the Steelers. They're going quarterback hunting. They got Dwayne Haskins, okay, signed as an unrestricted free agent for $2.5 million. Mitchell Trubisky signed a 2-year, $14.25 million deal. So much for Mason Rudolph, right? They signed those two guys. Offensive lineman, what's his name? Okafor. They signed him. They re-signed him for a 3-year, $30 million deal. Wow, $20 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
I wish I had his agent. All right, offensive guard James Daniels signed a 3-year, $26.5 million deal. Cornerback Arthur Millay re-signed a 2-year deal with them, and Miles Killebrew. So that's the AFC North. So any big names that pop out at the year besides, Trubisky and Amari Cooper, really?
Not Trubisky. Trubisky could be a true starter for a team. I believe that.
Hey, Dad.
He was 25 and 21 as a starter. That's not bad for a starter, considering the coaching that he had coming out from North Carolina.
He's underrated, Chris. He's underrated, Chris. I hate people that tear him apart, man, because he's underrated. I'm not saying he's great, but I'm saying he's solid. Like, you know what I mean? He's solid. He stays healthy. His goods, if you list his good attributes versus his bad attributes, the good outweighs the bad, right? But he might have 2 or 3 really good games, and then he has a stinker where he throws like 3 or 4 interceptions, and you know what I mean? And that's his downfall. Guys like Brady and Rodgers and them, they have bad games, but not like that. You know what I mean?
I think he's going to do okay there.
So then we go to the AFC South. The Texans re-signed Jeff Driscoll, quarterback, for a 1-year deal. Wide receiver Chris Conley, they re-signed him. Tight end Farrah Brown, re-signed him. Offensive lineman Cedric Obue, Justin Britt, AJ Cann. Defensive tackle Malik Collins, all re-signing. These are all re-signings with the Texans. The linebackers, Kurtsev and Okoronkwo, they re-signed them. Terrence Brooks, safety, and MJ Stewart re-signed, and so they pretty much re-signed their starting defense. So let's go to the Colts. Now the Colts lost Carson Wentz, so it's like, what do they do in quarterback? They haven't made any moves yet. I know they were one of the teams interested in Watson, but he didn't want to go there at all. So I don't know what they're going to do, but so far all they've done is they re-signed tight end Mo Cox to an $18 million 3-year deal, and cornerback Brandon Fashion to a 1-year deal. So that's all that they've done. Now Jacksonville, here we go, Big Nick. You ready? I know he's sitting there waiting for me to talk about Jacksonville because he loves Dougie P. Big Eagle fan, right? So they went out and got wide receiver Zay Jones for 3 years, $24 million. Then they went out and got Christian Kirk, which everybody's talking about, for a 4-year, $72 million deal, 37 guaranteed for a max value of what you said earlier, 84 million.
84 million.
That's insane. Don't you think that's a lot for a wide receiver? I mean, yes.
For maybe on a good team, maybe a third string corner receiver on a good team. He's definitely not a number one receiver, but he's getting number one receiver money.
But you imagine, obviously Doug Peterson knows that Trevor Lawrence needs targets to throw to. So he went out and get one of the top, definitely a top 10 receiver in the league. And then he got Zay Jones, and then he got tight end Evan Ingram.
We'll see how he does year 2. I mean, he had some good games and then some just horrific games.
Then they signed Brandon Sheriff, the offensive guard, for a 3-year, $49.5 million deal. Where are they getting all this money? I didn't know Jacksonville had all this money to spend.
Yeah, they said day one they spent over 200 and some million in day one.
It's insane. They got Cam Robinson. Yes. They got Tyler Shatley. They got linebacker Foye Oluokun for a 3-year, $45 million deal. I mean, Dougie P's spending their money, that's for sure. Of the the cons, right? The con zone on the Jaguars.
Let's hope these players do something. They're not big names, but you're giving out big contracts for these guys.
Unbelievable. So then the last team in the South is the AFC South is the Titans, and all they've done is they re-signed tight end Jeff Swaim. They re-signed the center, Ben Jones. They re-signed their linebacker, Howard Lantry, to a 5-year, $87 million deal. So they definitely wanted to keep him. And Morgan Cox agreed to a 1-year extension. So that's the Titans. That's the AFC South. No, nothing major, right? I mean, except the Jaguar. I think the Jaguars made the most moves, right, Chris, in that division.
So far. They made some big moves, but so far, they spent the most money so far. To bring we got some talent, but how good is the talent?
Right, exactly. So then we got the AFC West, who obviously brought in quarterback Russell Wilson in a trade with the Seahawks for a 4th-round pick and 2 first-round picks, 2 second-rounders, and a 5th-rounder, and quarterback Drew Lock, and tight end Noah Fant, and defensive tackle Shelby Harris. Overpaid? You think they overpaid for Russell Wilson?
Yeah, that's kind of the same trade the Jets gave away for Jamal Adams.
Right.
And the Jets got the same type of picks back. But was that great for the Jets?
We'll see what happens to the Broncos there. So then they got defensive end Randy Gregory, as you said earlier. The Cowboys offered him a deal. They thought they had it all but done. And Denver says, nope, we're going to trump that. And so they signed him to a 5-year, $70 million, $28 million guaranteed deal for defensive end Randy Gregory, who's now a Denver Bronco.
That's a huge loss for that defense.
And a huge gain loss for the Bronco defense. Defensive tackle DJ Jones agreed to a 3-year deal with the Broncos, and linebacker Josie Jewell agreed to a 2 years with the Broncos. So the Broncos making some major moves, but not a lot of moves, right? They
still have a ton of money to spend.
Overpaid. Dennis says they overpaid for Gregory. You think that you agree with that?
Well, he's a Cowboys fan. He would know.
Any Cowboys fan that I've talked to today has said the exact same thing because they're bitter because they had him. They had him. I don't know what happened there. Cowboys do this crap all the time. They're going to push for Von Miller. Yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah, Von Miller's DeMarcus Ware said he wants Von to come there. So he's pushing for Von to come there.
Well, we'll see. So what? So let's go to the AFC. I'm sorry. Let's go to the Chiefs then. So the Chiefs, offensive tackle Orlando Brown got the franchise tag. Defensive end Frank Clark signed a 2-year deal for $29 million, max value 36. And safety Justin Reed signed a 3-year, $31 million deal. So the Chiefs not making too many moves so far. Then the Raiders defensive end Max Crosby signed a 4-year, $98.98 million extension with 95 and 53 million guaranteed. Wow.
That's well deserved.
Max Crosby for the Raiders, yeah. I mean, they gotta do something with that defense, that's for sure. Of course, then we get to the Chargers, who re-signed Mike Williams to a 3-year deal, right? $60 million, $40 million guaranteed. Defensive tackle Austin Johnson, defensive tackle Sebastian Joseph Day, and then they got linebacker Khalil Mack, as you mentioned earlier, right? In a trade with the Chargers in exchange for a 22 pick, second round pick, 6th rounder, and a 6th rounder in 2023. So, and then they got J.C. Jackson, the cornerback, right? So they're definitely beefing up their defense in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, because their offense will put up 27 a game. I think they averaged 27.9 last year, which is like 5th best in the league.
They supported Gregory through his 50 games of suspension and he turns his back on them. Chargers made some smart moves. Yes, they did. Bitter. See, I told you, the Cowboy fans, Gregory is now public enemy number 1 in Dallas. Speaking of Dallas, let's go to the NFC East. So the Dallas Cowboys re-signed Michael Gallup. I thought they were going to let him walk, but I guess after letting Cooper go, they had to re-sign Michael Gallup. So they re-signed him to a 5-year, $57.5 million deal, 23 guaranteed. Obviously they have CeeDee Lamb there. They got to keep Gallup too. They franchise tagged the tight end Schultz. Defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence agreed to a 3-year, $40 million deal with the Cowboys. Safety Malik Hooker re-signed a 2-year deal with them, and Jake McQuaid re-signed a 1-year deal worth the veteran minimum. I love Gallup, but we overpaid. I don't know about that. $57 million for 5 years. That's roughly what? 11, 12 million a year? 11 million a year?
11 million a year.
He's
a solid number 2.
That's not insane, I don't think. Yeah, and he's obviously right. He's a solid number 2 under CeeDee Lamb. I think he'll be fine there.
They just got one overpaid player, and that's Ezekiel Elliott.
So let's go to the elephant in the room, and that's the Giants. I wish Anthony was here for this. He won't start the season. Well, we'll see. Is he hurt? I didn't know he was hurt. Is he hurt? So the Giants got Tyrod Taylor, as you mentioned to me just moments ago. Quarterback Tyrod Taylor. 2 years, $11 million, but the max value is 17. So is he being signed to back up Danny Dimes or compete with that starting job?
He's competing for that starting job. You're talking about a playoff quarterback. He took the Bills to the playoffs. He is a solid quarterback.
Tore his ACL in the playoff game. Oh, Gallup did. Well, I don't know if I don't remember that, but I, why would they give him such a big deal then if he's not even going to be able to start the season? I don't know. He might have been beneficiary of the fact that they let Cooper walk, or they couldn't afford Cooper, they couldn't afford to pay Cooper, whatever the reason was. I know that Prescott restructured his contract to help out with that problem. Yeah, exactly. All right,
yeah,
so
Prescott's going to miss Cooper.
So the Giants got Tyrod Taylor, and then they signed Feliciano, the offensive lineman, and Mark Glowinski, the to a 3-year deal, $20 million. So they're beefing up their offensive line for whoever ends up to be quarterback there. I wonder who, like you said, playoff quarterback versus Danny Dimes. But I mean, see, I don't know if they're completely done with him. Like I don't know if they're like, they're like, okay, no, we're gonna move on from that guy. I don't know. They have an early pick, don't they? Don't they have like the 9th pick in the draft?
Yeah, they have an early pick.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they'll do there, but
I wasn't sold on Danny Dimes where they picked him in the draft anyway. I thought that was an outrageous pick that high for him coming out of Duke.
So let's go to the Eagles. The Eagles agreed with Greg Ward on a 1-year contract. Jason Kelsey signed a 1-year, $14 million contract, which makes him the highest paid center in football. Linebacker Hassan Reddick from the Panthers. They got him signing a 3-year, $45 million deal, which includes $30 million guaranteed. Max value 49.5. And defensive back Andre, I don't know how to say that name, Shakara? I don't know. To a 1-year contract, defensive back. So, to me, as an Eagles fan, and there's Eagles fans watching, so if you want my opinion, definitely great that Kelsey's coming back for sure. Definitely great that they got Reddick, who's a pass rusher. They better let him just be a pass rusher because they're listing him as a linebacker. And if Jonathan Gannon tries to do that nonsense where it has him standing or has him, moving around, I'm going to be irritated. He needs to be down on a 3-point stance and running around and killing quarterbacks because that's what he does. 24 sacks in the last 2 seasons, dude. That's averaging 12 a season in the last 2 seasons. That's why they got this guy. So let him do what he does. He's a defensive edge rusher. That's what he is. The Washington Commanders, as we all know, got quarterback Carson Wentz.
To resurrect his career.
In exchange for a 22 third rounder and a 23 third rounder. And Cousin Phil has said many times that he wants the Eagles to lose both games against Carson Wentz, which is blasphemy. It's so bad. He's an Eagles fan. I don't get it. Washington is a joke. Thank you, Dennis. You're absolutely right. What he said. Dimes isn't the answer, and I think that they need to trade Saquon while he has value. I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
NFC North, the Bears. All they've done is signed a 3-year deal for $40 million for defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi. That's all they've done so far. The Lions, on the other hand, re-signed Tim Boyle, the quarterback, to back up Jared Goff. They've signed wide receivers DJ Chark, Khalif Raymond, and Josh Reynolds. They re-signed all of those guys. They re-signed their center, Evan Brown, their defensive end, Charles Harris, their linebacker, Alex Anzalone, and their defensive back, CJ Moore. That's all that. I mean, the Lions have basically re-signed a bunch of their own. They didn't make any big trades or anything. Wentz.
The Lions have their eyes on Allen Robinson, though.
As do the Eagles. I know the Eagles are eyeing him and J.J. Smith-Schuster from the Steelers. So we'll see if either one of those guys comes to Philadelphia to help out Jalen Hurts. Green Bay Packers, of course, re-signed Aaron Rodgers to basically a $150 million deal for the next 3 years. Wide receiver Devontae Adams got the franchise tag, but he told them he won't play under the franchise tag. They re-signed Alan Lazard, wide receiver. They linebacker Devondre Campbell. They signed him to a 5-year deal for $50 million. And linebacker Preston Smith signed a 4-year extension worth $52 million for the Packers. So they pretty much stayed intact there. I hate the Eagles, but they should grab Robinson or Landry. Thanks,
how about the salary for the next 3 years for Aaron Rodgers?
Right.
$42 million the first year, 59.5 the second year, and 49.3 the third year.
Isn't that insane? I think that's
not fully guaranteed unless if he keeps playing.
For a guy who is like, what the hell is his playoff record since he won the Super Bowl? I don't even know. I know he's won. I know in the NFC Championship games completely, he's 1-4.
1-4, yep.
But I mean, playoff games. I don't know how many playoff wins he has, but since he won the Super Bowl, I don't get it. I know he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he fails when it counts. Rodgers is the true owner of the Packers, and he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, they just upped the ticket sales at Lambeau again.
Sure, to pay for him.
And sure, the fans will pay for it,
and the fans want him there, right?
Yep, like right, exactly.
You're exactly right. So the Vikings then signed Kirk Cousins to a 1-year deal for $35 million guaranteed. Defensive lineman Harrison Phillips and linebacker Jordan Hicks. I remember that guy. So that's all the Vikings have done. Now the Falcons got offensive tackle Jake Matthews and kicker. They signed their kicker, that Young Hoku. They signed him. But they're talking to DeShaun Watson, like today.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And you mentioned that DeShaun Watson called them.
DeShaun Watson is from Georgia. There's nothing like playing in your home state.
Sure.
Here's a funny stat for that division. Kirk Cousins has made $230 million in his 10-year career. What has he done? Nothing.
He's unbelievable.
$230 million.
These teams just keep giving him money. I think that if the Vikings let him walk, somebody would have paid him. Like somebody would have rented him for a year. I guarantee it. All right, so let's go to the plus Atlanta is full of massage therapists.
That is true.
Good Lord. All right. He's not my problem anyway. He doesn't want to go to Philadelphia. I know there were rumors that the Eagles were interested, and I'm sure they probably were. They were interested in Russell Wilson too. I get it. But neither one of those guys wanted to come play in Philadelphia. That's fine. So let him go somewhere and be somebody else's problem. He's a great quarterback, but I mean, he comes with a lot of baggage, just saying. All right, somebody's going to overpay for him too. Carolina Panthers got running back Deontay Foreman, offensive guard Austin Corbett signed a 3-year deal worth $29 million. Defensive end Marcus Haynes agreed to 2-year contract. Sean Chandler, the safety, re-signed with them. Xavier Woods signed a 3-year, $15 million contract with the Panthers. And the kicker, Zane Gonzalez, agreed to a 2-year, $4 million. So that's all the Panthers have done. Now the Saints haven't done a damn thing. Nothing. They've made no trades. They haven't announced any re-signs or anything like that. They've kind of been dormant. So there's nothing really to talk about with the Saints. Although the Saints
are searching for a quarterback.
They were, and they were all in on they interviewed DeShaun Watson. They had him come in and talk to him. Jalen is solid when protected. Is he talking Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts, yes.
Okay.
Hey, Oklahoma product, brother.
I know, but see, the problem is I love Jalen, believe me. But the problem is the Eagles don't. That's the problem. For whatever reason, his inaccuracy down the field, whatever it is, they think that won't be fixed. And what's going to happen is they're going to let him walk because they have a decision to make at the end of the season. They're going to let him play this season as their starting quarterback. And if they don't like what they see throughout the season, or maybe he doesn't get into the playoffs or a playoff win, they're going to move on from him because they have otherwise because he's at the end of his rookie contract now. He has to get paid. So do you pay him? Do you trade him? Do you let him walk? I think the Eagles are going to let him walk. I think he's going to go somewhere and he's going to do awesome. And they're going to oh, well, it's not going to be a Carson Wentz situation is what I'm saying.
Carson Wentz might be another one and out. He ran out of Indy. He might get ran out of Washington after a year.
Probably, but see, he's going to be one of those journeyman guys now, like Ryan Fitzpatrick, where he shows you shades of greatness, and then he throws a bunch of interceptions and makes some stupid things happen. You know what I mean?
He doesn't have Fitz magic, though.
McCaffrey needs to be traded as well while he still has value. Too many injuries. But that's the thing. Who's going to want him? He gets hurt all the time.
Who's going to eat that contract?
What?
Who's going to eat that contract that he has, McCaffrey?
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing, too. So the Saints haven't done nothing. So let's go to the Buccaneers. Of course, they brought Brady back from retirement. He has announced
to
that
win
himself.
Another Super Bowl.
We'll see. I think he went home with the kids and the wife for 7 weeks, and he's like, okay, I'm not happy right now. I still want to play. You know what I mean? I think he gets traded in the draft. What, McCaffrey? Maybe. His inaccuracies are because of the pressure he's under, and he trusts his legs. They need him to work on his pocket work. He's talking about Hurts. Still talking about Hurts. You think Hurts, Dennis? You think Hurts gets traded in the draft, right? So let's go to the West, brother. The Cardinals re-signed Colt McCoy, quarterback, 2-year deal. Running back James Conner agreed to 3 years, $21 million extension. Tight end Zach Ertz got a 3-year, $31 million contract, 17 guaranteed. Good for him. That's awesome. Defensive end Michael Dogbe re-signed, and linebacker Dennis Gardick. That's cool. I'm happy for Zach Ertz that he got that 3-year extension because the boy can still play, I think. No, McCaffrey. Okay, yeah. You think McCaffrey's going to get traded in the draft. Okay. The Rams re-signed offensive tackle Joe Noteboom, center Brian Allen. That's all that they've done so far. The 49ers, running back Hasty, they signed him to a 1-year extension. And cornerback Shavaris Ward to a 3-year, $40 million deal. That's a pretty good deal for him. Brady.
You think the Rams can re-sign Von Miller and Odell Beckham?
One, but not the other. I'd keep Odell. I would keep Odell over Von Miller. Brady saw gas prices and he knew he needed to keep working. Trust me, that guy's made so much damn money, dude. He has people driving him around in flying cars. All right. So then we get to the Seahawks. Of course, they got quarterback Drew Lock from the trade for Russell Wilson, plus all those draft picks. And then they got tight end. They re-signed tight end Will Dissly to a 3-year, $24 million contract. Tight end Noah Fant from the trade for Wilson. Defensive tackle Shelby Harris, also from the trade for Wilson. Defensive tackle Al Woods, re-signed him. Cornerback Sidney Jones, re-signed him to a 1-year deal. And safety Quandre Diggs to a 3-year, $40 million deal to the Seahawks. So I want your opinion, dude. That's it. That's all the NFL. That's the major NFL trades. And it took me over a half hour to go through them all, but that's all the major NFL trades. Pete Carroll, do you think he sticks around? Do you think he's done? Do you think he gives it one more year? Like, what do you think of him? Losing Russell Wilson's a big deal. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
And unless they can get a quarterback, if they can get a Garoppolo or somebody in there, because Geno is not going to be your starting quarterback.
Geno.
So possibly. I even saw it on a few sites that they might look into Colin Kaepernick.
Well, there's a name. Controversial. I heard his name because I heard that the XFL was looking to maybe sign him because they're starting up in February of 2023. So they're looking for like some names, some former NFL players that don't play anymore that would like to maybe still play. And he's one of the guys that was mentioned. I don't know if, first off, he's been out of the league for what, 9 years?
4 years, I think. I think he's been out 4 years.
4 years? You sure?
I believe it's 4 years, yeah.
Okay. Carroll coaches this year, and then the team starts to rebuild, and Carroll's out. Probably. Jennifer said Drew Lock is not the answer for quarterback. You're right. I agree with that. I'd love to see Cap get a shot somewhere. So would a lot of people. But there's also a lot of people that don't even, I'm not going to get into a political discussion, but there's a lot of people that could care less to ever see Colin Kaepernick again. But to me, I always enjoyed him on the field. Judging him as a football player, I always enjoyed him on the field. He was always fun to watch, and he was with the 49ers. They got to a Super Bowl, or an NFC Championship game, or a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl quarterback,
and lost it. But I mean, NFC Championship for sure. Loads of talent, but has he been gone too long? That's my only concern. That's my only concern with him. So I mean, there you go. I mean, that's kind of the entire NFL. What's going on so far? A lot of teams, to me, jumping the gun with the trades and the free agency stuff when that stuff was supposed to start on the 16th, which is tomorrow. But this legal tampering stuff, the NFL just kind of let them go because next thing you know, you had like a plethora of signings and stuff like that. But I think that wherever Watson ends up is going to be interesting. Who ends up being the Seattle quarterback is going to be interesting. Brady and Rodgers, of course, back is going to be interesting. How good or bad will they be? Time will tell.
Where do you see Jimmy G going?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Are they going to move? I mean, are they going to, get what's the quarterback, Lance? Are they gonna really give him a shot at that job? Or, I mean, Jimmy G, the problem with the 49ers is they threw Jimmy G in there, and all he did was, run them into the playoffs and get a playoff win against the Cowboys. So I mean, he's
also had shoulder surgery, so I don't think he's going to be available until at least August.
And I mean, they gave the Rams a run for their money too. I mean, the Rams end up winning the Super Bowl, but I mean, in the playoff game against the Rams, that was a hell of a game. Jimmy to Seattle or the Saints? There you go.
That's a good possibility.
On either, I agree with that completely. That's probably where he's going. I heard and see a lot of trade talk with Baker Mayfield too. Really? Have you heard that, Chris? I haven't heard anything about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, they'd be willing to accept offers for him. That's what I heard on a few different sites.
Right.
Because he's at the end of his contract year now. So he either plays good and you pay him or you get rid of him.
So Cousin Phil, I'm gonna state here publicly that Cousin Phil was correct because I went through just the NFL trades and free agency signings and re-signings and all that stuff, and we're 45 minutes in. He said, "Oh, you got so much to talk about the NFL trades, you're not going to have time for anything else." But we're going to switch to March Madness. Let me see what you know about March Madness. Or unless you want to talk baseball stuff. I heard some rumors on Baker as well. I heard see a lot of trade talk, or maybe even with the Texans for Baker Mayfield.
I mean, we could talk a little March Madness. It's that time of year where this is the major thing. This
It
is the
just got
main
started,
focus.
right?
Yes, this is the main focus. Everybody, whether you're a sports fan or not, is going to be watching March Madness.
Yeah, because I mean, it's also bet on a lot. Even if you don't even watch college basketball, it's bet on.
Yeah, and
But I mean,
it's a
there's always some.
1 in 64 shot. You got teams that are a 16 seed that have a shot on winning a national title. That's the only place in sports that a team that could be a 16 seed, probably ranked 68th out of 68 teams, that still has a chance to win a national title.
Right.
It's never happened, but it's just the opportunity is there.
So I got the bracket in front of me. Anything stands out in front of you?
I see 3 New Jersey teams in there. Seton Hall, Rutgers, and St. Peter's.
Right. So yeah, I always root for the local teams too. And me being a Philly guy, where I root for the Philadelphia teams. I root for Villanova, of course. It was proposed the deal that was supposed to send DeShaun Watson, DeShaun Watson and Baker Mayfield, right? So I know that DeShaun Watson visited Cleveland, so maybe Baker Mayfield was put on the block, so to speak. So for the Texans to deal DeShaun Watson to Cleveland, they would have had to include Baker Mayfield in that deal, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Rutgers,
Yes.
baby. I know.
What I find weird is how Gonzaga is a very heavy favorite in this tournament with a lot of good teams.
Why is that weird? They're a number 1 seed, aren't they?
They're a number 1 seed, but they don't play the competition. Say if they played in the SEC, they would have 6, 7, 8 losses. They would not have the record they had if they played in a tougher conference than what they play now.
So it's the most exciting tournament, and it's amazing to see people that have no clue get pumped. Yeah, like me, Dennis, like me. I'm one of those people. I have no clue, but I do get excited, and I do watch some games, especially when it gets down to the Elite 8 and the Final 4, for sure. But, you know, I don't know who pops out at me here other than, like you said, the Jersey teams, Villanova, Gonzaga. I remember back in the day when Gonzaga was the Cinderella story, right? Nobody had ever heard of Gonzaga, and they kind of come out of nowhere, and now they're like, seems like to be like great every year. They built this program, you know.
And this could be the first year that they actually win a national title.
So then you also got the Kentuckys and the UNCs and the Dukes. They're always there, right?
Yeah, you got Gonzaga,
always...
Arizona, Kansas, and Baylor are your number 1 seeds.
Right.
And Baylor's the defending champ.
Okay. So, yeah, you know, you got any Cinderella teams? Like you see a team on there where you're like, they could surprise some people?
I like my pick to go to the Final Four, even the finals, would be Tennessee, which is on a big winning streak right now, and they won the SEC championship. They beat Kentucky twice this year. There is one team coming in that's very hot, and that's Virginia Tech, who just won the ACC championship. They won 12 out of their past 14 games, and they are 11 seed.
Oh, wow. So Diddy says, don't sleep on UConn, fellas. But if I saw an early upset, it would be New Mexico State upsetting the Huskies.
That's true.
So I'm getting here that the first round starts on the 17th. What are you watching right now?
These are the play-in games.
Okay.
So there's 2 play-in games today and 2 play-in games tomorrow.
Gotcha.
And then the winners play somebody in the bracket.
Right.
So there's a total of 4 playing games.
4, right. So what I'm seeing here is the winner of one of those games plays Alabama. The other,
Rutgers Notre Dame plays Alabama. Rutgers and Notre Dame.
Okay, then St. Mary's plays a play-in team. Kansas is going to end up playing a play-in team. and Arizona. All right,
Yeah.
so UConn and New Mexico State.
I think UConn's got a shot.
Huh?
I think UConn always has a shot when they're in the tournament. They're a tough team in the tournament every year.
Well, I mean, he's saying he wouldn't be surprised that New Mexico State would upset them. It would be them upsetting UConn.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at anything. A few years back, I watched Maryland, Baltimore County beat the overall number 1 seed Virginia at a 16 seed to 1.
All right, Dennis wants to know who do you guys think will take it all?
I got the Kentucky Wildcats beating Kansas in the final.
There it is. Kentucky. I know nothing, so I'm just going to go with Gonzaga with my gut feeling, but that's me.
That's about 50% of the people are going with Gonzaga. They want to see him win it finally, which wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah. All right, so dude, we got about, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes here. I promised Phil I'd get this one in, but let me hold on a second. What else we got there? Jennifer says Kentucky. She's with you. Dennis says I have Kansas. Okay.
Good pick.
It's not hard to figure that out. Okay. So I promised Cousin Phil I'd get this one in because today is March 15th. If you don't know, that's the Ides of March. It's from Julius Caesar. Here's why I can say that UConn plays up to their level. They're playing UConn, beats a strong Seton Hall and Creighton, but would lose to a much lower seed. That's their main flaw. So UConn plays up to their level, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So our last subject, we got like 7 or 8 minutes left, is I know you're a huge sport nut, right? So what's your favorite sports movie?
There's so many. But
don't you dare say Rudy.
No.
Okay, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear
actually one you wouldn't think. Okay. And Tom Hanks stars in it.
Forrest Gump. No. I'm kidding.
A League of Their Own.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because most people wouldn't even know, like younger kids these days, that there was actually a women's baseball league back in the day.
Right. When the Major League Baseball players, a lot of them went to World War II.
Yes.
And so they had to have girls baseball, and they had, I believe it was 6 teams or 4 teams.
I think it was 6 teams.
6 teams all around the Indiana, Illinois area.
Yeah.
I know that the Rockford Peaches were one of them, right? The South Bend had a team. Rockford had a team. Racine had a team. And that movie was really good because it really showed you what they had to go through to keep baseball kind of going. And they got popular. For a small time, they did get popular. The All-American Girls Baseball League, they called it. He said a league of I don't know if he said a league of their own before you did or not. There's no crying in baseball. That's correct.
Yeah, Tom Hanks was awesome in that movie.
Dennis, holy shit, favorite movie? So tough. Well, pick one, Dennis. So that's your favorite sports movie?
That I enjoyed the most. I also like Field of Dreams, so it's tough. You got Field of Dreams and A League of Their Own.
It's interesting though that both of those are baseball movies.
Yeah,
because I like Rocky.
I'm a big Rocky fan. I mean, every time it's on, I watch it. I could word for word every Rocky all the way through every one he's ever made.
But would you consider that a sports movie? I mean, it's boxing.
It is because it was the total underdog story. He was given a shot in the dark to become something, and he did it.
The Sandlot. There we go. That's a good one.
Yeah, she loves The Sandlot.
Yeah, but so Rocky, it kind of sucks because there isn't any really great football movie, and football is my favorite sport. So it's like
If you would
I'm not a
watch,
huge fan of Rudy, and like Any Given Sunday, I'm not a big. The Replacements is okay, I
yeah, The
guess.
Replacements is good. The
The
Underdog,
Longest Yard.
the one with Kurt Warner that I watched a couple months ago was really good.
Remember the Titans. There, Dennis is Remember the Titans, Field of Dreams, and Rudy should not be in the conversation. There, talk to your boy over here because he said Rudy or he said Field of Dreams
Field
earlier.
of Dreams.
All right, favorite comedy sports movie, Major League.
Yeah,
Of course, absolutely, Major League. Are you kidding? Wild Thing, Ricky Vaughn, baby. Rudy is almost all fake. Okay.
the Kurt Warner movie that I watched a couple months ago was pretty good. Good one.
I was going to ask if you saw that because I
Yes.
haven't yet, and I heard it was good.
That's a true underdog one. That's a really good movie to watch.
See, it's interesting. You sent me the Vince Papale jersey, and I never saw Invincible.
That's an amazing movie too.
Yeah, maybe I should check that out.
I mean, it would have been a little better if maybe a different actor, maybe not a Mark Wahlberg, because if you actually look at the guy and the way he played football, you just don't see Mark Wahlberg on the field. When they show Mark Wahlberg on the field, he barely fits into his pads.
Right.
He looks tiny out there. That wasn't
football.
the
That's
real
what I'm
guy.
saying. Football movies are harder to do than baseball. It seems like baseball you can get more emotional with it, and a football movie you can just get lost in the football. Like you want to see the football games more than the baseball games in a baseball movie. Like Sandlot was funny, but like there wasn't a lot of like full baseball games in the movie. There was a lot of the guys were hitting the ball around. There was practice, and the kids were getting in trouble. And they had that one game against that actual real team where they beat the crap out of them. But
it was our childhood.
They didn't really show a baseball game within the movie.
It was our childhood because we all did that.
Remember the Program and the dude on roids? Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
The coach in that was the dude from The Godfather, right? What the hell's his name?
I think it was Necessary Roughness. Was that it?
Unnecessary Roughness.
Yeah.
No, he said the Program.
Roughness.
No, it was the Program. Unnecessary Roughness, but the Program was the one with the dude with roids. He's right on that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
What about Blue Chips, right? Wasn't that with Shaquille O'Neal?
Yeah, Blue Chips was a good movie, too.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
With Anthony Hardaway and Shaq.
A lot of people say Hoosiers or what's that hockey movie with the slap shot?
Or The Miracle.
The Miracle. Yeah, I mean, there's been some great ones over the years, but to me, nothing holds a candle to Rocky. Here you go. What's Rocky, though? Which Rocky's your favorite?
Rocky IV. When he beats the Russian, of course. When Apollo dies and he comes back and he beats the Russian.
Everybody says that, man. All right. All right, man. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Cousin Phil wanted me to mention about my debut. All right, hold on. I got comments flying in here still. Jennifer says Rocky IV. Boy, she just likes what you like. Is that true?
That's why we're a match made in heaven.
Okay. No question. I will break you. They're both on that Rocky IV. My favorite of them all, by the way, is Rocky II, by the way. But just saying. Wait, because just for one scene. And the scene is when Adrian has the baby and she wakes up from the coma, Rocky's at her bedside.
Yeah.
And she says, "There's just one thing I want you to do for me." And he said, "What's that?" And he said, "Win." She says, "Win. Win." And then Burgess Meredith goes, "What are we waiting for? Take this." And then
how many times did you tear up when that happened?
Yes.
I know I did.
They play that scene at the
Yeah.
beginning of every Eagles game.
Yeah.
All right, so my debut on commentary for 3WA Carnage, everybody who watches this, we also broadcast this on our 2M1L Media YouTube and Facebook pages, but we also broadcast this on the Around the Turnbuckle pages. So I'm glad that some of the wrestling fans are going to see this too, if not now, later. And that is this past Friday, I was on commentary for 3WA Carnage, which is a weekly show. And you can look it up, 3WA Wrestling on Facebook or YouTube. And I'm going to be doing it each and every Friday. This Friday is no exception. I already pre-recorded that episode for this coming Fridays, and they drop them every Friday at 6:00. So check me out, and then pretty soon I'm gonna have my partner from Around the Turnbuckle, the Professor, is gonna be joining me on commentary. So I'm really excited about that. I've gotten so much phone calls, text messages. It's been overwhelming. So I appreciate you guys, everybody that have wished me well and good luck with that. And it's a dream come true for me, being a kid that was a wrestling fan since I was 5 years old. My parents know that it's a dream come true. I mean, just to commentate actual real professional wrestling, it's awesome, and I couldn't be more thrilled. And I don't know if he's going to watch this, but I want to thank Dino Santa for the opportunity. He's the president of 3WA, and I hope I'm doing him justice, and I hope I'm doing the 3WA fans justice, who I've gotten to know a lot of them down in Quakertown. And I'll see you guys on March the 26th for the next show. I can't wait. So there's that. Cousin Phil wanted to hear about that. So any last words, Chris, before we get out of here, brother?
No, I just wanted to tell you I'm proud of you, man. It's just the beginning, man. Big things are on the horizon.
Thank you to you, and thank you to Jennifer. So awesome. So happy for you. Thanks. Thank you very much. I'm really excited, like I said. I don't do it live. They send me the pre-recorded episode, and then I go on the computer, do the voiceover, and send it back to them. They do their final polishing on it, and then they drop them every Friday night at 6:00. So, I got, like I said, somebody sent me a video of a whole firehouse watching it like a pay-per-view on a big screen TV. One of the wrestlers at a firehouse.
Awesome.
So that's badass. I'm sitting there watching 20, 30 guys say, and somebody say, "Who's commentating?" He said, he's pretty good. That was cool. And the original Hat Guy, who used to be in ECW, called me and FaceTime me like this, and said that he was proud of me. That he said that I sounded really professional, like I've been doing it forever, and that was my first time.
Yeah.
So that was badass to get praise from him. Through this Around the Turnbuckle thing and the Home Team Sports thing, I've gotten to know so many people, and so I mean, I'm gonna hopefully get to meet Shane Douglas on March the 26th. That's pretty cool. I couldn't be happier. And the whole Home Team Sports thing with me and you and Anthony and Phil, and hopefully Adrian comes back. That'd be great. I couldn't be happier with all this. This is so much fun, and I appreciate everybody who chimes in. I appreciate everybody who watches us each and every week, and we're gonna keep rolling with this, right, brother?
Yeah, appreciate all the people who are chiming in with all the questions and everything.
Absolutely,
really appreciate all of you.
Absolutely, we couldn't do it without you. So the next time you're gonna see me is Sunday night on the 20th, right here on this channel at 6:00 p.m., where the Professor and I will be interviewing JT Funk. So don't miss that. JT Funk was on about a year ago. He's done so much since. His career's pretty much exploded. And not only that, but he's now a star of a movie. He's on the silver screen. So that's awesome. I can't wait to talk to him about that. So Chris and I are done for Home Team Sports. I'm the Big Alboski. He's Chris Fant. See us next week, next Tuesday, 7:00, same place, Same bat time, same bat channel, and we're out of here.
I see you shiver with